Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. I'm Laura Milojevich, the Director of Marketing and Business Development at Simplify Solutions. Today, we're excited to have our managing partner, John Essig, discussing and demoing the new Paradigm Intro to Reporting and Analytics in SAP Analytics Cloud. When the webinar concludes, a short survey is going to appear. If you guys can please fill that out, we'd really appreciate it. We love the feedback and want to make our demos and webinars better if we can. So please feel free to reach out to John or myself after the webinar with any questions. And now I will hand it over to John.
All right, great. Thanks, Lauren. Nice to meet you all. Just show my camera here for a minute. So yeah, John Essig, Managing Partner at Simplify, have been designing and implementing financial planning processes and systems, analytics and consolidations for a long time. And before that came from a corporate finance background. And yeah, excited to share a little bit with you today about how SAP Analytics Cloud can be leveraged to allow you to do more efficient analysis as well as book publishing, what you can get out of this tool versus what you could get with a legacy Excel type add-on. So with that being said, I'll give you a quick 1-minute intro on our company and what we do, and then we'll jump right into a demo. We're not going to go through a bunch of slides today, so we'll be focused on the product and some of the scenarios that showcase what I just mentioned. So, all right, so I should be sharing my screen and not my webcam. There we go. So Simplify, we're a firm of partners focused on business process design, content automation. We have a big focus on business content for FP&A, line of business planning, analytics, data modeling, performance reporting, financial statements, consolidations. From a technology perspective, we're focused on SAP, specifically the products, SAP Analytics Cloud, group reporting, BPC for a long time before that, and then all the integration, data warehousing, etc. underneath that. Typically, we're driving value for our clients on planning implementations and analytics implementations by basically automating the repetitive tasks and overhead time spending collecting and aggregating data, and allowing you to more focus on the business drivers within your operations. So we have award-winning business content, some great scenarios to share with you today, customers across all major geographies and industries. And a lot of prepackaged content, as we move to the cloud from legacy on-premise solutions. We had kind of seen with those solutions so many times, a lot differs industry to industry, company to company, but there's a lot from commonalities in between, right? So we've invested a ton in building prepackaged analytics as well as reporting applications. One of them we'll share with you today as we go through some of these examples on performance reporting as well as a little bit on profitability that can help decrease your time and cost to implement by 30 to 50%. And that's it. We'll go ahead and jump right into the product and these scenarios that I was mentioning earlier. So this is SAP Analytics Cloud. Of course, SAP Analytics Cloud is a solution that does planning, analytics. You can also use it for consolidations. We have an app for that. It's one of our prepackaged solutions. The tool has a more traditional, Excel add-in as well, right? So we're not going to focus on that today. We're going to focus on the web interface. And this is the main kind of launch page to the web interface here. We have our home page, which is customizable, which we can pin and different KPIs and things from our favorite reports that are relevant to us, or things that we want to track on a month-over-month basis to see any variances or things like that. We can jump right into these reports from here. Also within SAP Analytics Cloud, we could just type in something up here on top, and it'll come back and try to figure out, the answer to our question here. We have catalogs that we can use to group different reporting, analytics, books, processes, as well as planning processes and close processes. This is a fully robust, EPM tool as well as a analytics solution from an operational standpoint. So that's a big part of the value with this tool versus some of the other products out in the market. This solution was really built to bring analytics together with reporting and planning on one platform. So it does a lot more than a traditional EPM or CPM tool does, right? Within this tool, we can build cubes, we can build more relational models, joining data sets together. We can build planning sequences, calendar workflows. We can do that based off of SAP data sets. We can do that based off of flat file data sets or Google Drives or shared drives, right, of data sets we're dropping. We can, there's a bunch of pre-built connectors. But even for us internally as a firm, we use SAP Analytics Cloud a lot for external data sets that we're trying to analyze, right? So it's much easier to do so within this tool than it is within Excel, and I'll show you some of those examples in a minute here. So we're going to kind of, from a flow perspective, we're going to first start off by looking at more of a finished polished report book example that you would publish out of this solution. Then we're going to get into more kind of guided analytics, profitability analytics, sales analytics, examples and dashboards, and how you can more easily find answers to your questions within the analytics and visualizations and grid reports. SAP Analytics Cloud offers predictive and smart insight capabilities, all these kind of advanced analytics capabilities. That's not what we're focused on today. We're focused more on core reporting and analytics. So the last thing that we'll cover is an ad hoc reporting example at the end. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is the report book example, and this shows kind of the value of some of the things that you can't do with nearly as well, if at all, with the traditional kind of Excel add-in type tool, right? So companies that I work with more traditionally are using like a ThinkCell or using like a Power BI, and they're extracting data from Excel or from an EPM tool, and then they're loading it into a Power BI or another solution to be able to get their graphics and visualization. So that means they're managing structures in multiple places, they're integrating data, they're dealing with latency and numbers not tying, right? There's a whole set of processes that have to go into taking the data from your Excel-based tool and putting it in this analytics solution. So this report book, you're actually getting both the bridges and visualizations like you see here, as well as your grid-based reporting out of one tool, out of one model, right? So this has traditional bridge-based reporting that companies look at, which you can do out of the box with SAP Analytics Cloud. We've also built prepackaged content on top of that, which leverages SAP Analytics Cloud's calculation engine to calculate and derive what's driving a variance, for example. Is it volume-driven, price-driven, cost-driven, FX-driven, right? So we're pre-calculating that and then showing that in the bridge here. We have standard configuration for that. We have these nice number call-outs. You can look at actual versus budget, actual versus last year, your different KPIs and things. And then you have links to basically your different tabs in your story workbook here. And this is meant to be able to be published out at the end of the day. So we've got this summary page here. We can jump into the rest of our report book. We have, and this is more of a P&L kind of focused view, right? This goes for operational analytics and things as well. But we have a comparative, kind of standard comparative cut where we're looking at month-to-date, quarter-to-date stacked with variances. In the rows within the accounts, we can drill into or drill up, up and down within these as well. And then we have filters off to the left of our report. So pretty standard grid-based reporting that you would see in Excel, but you get to combine that with the visualizations in one tool with all of your numbers coming out of one place. You have your standard trended reports, you have your consolidating reports, and for this example within our story filter up here, we're just looking at Germany, right? So not much to look at from a company consolidated place. We can always just easily, toggle the dimensionality. Maybe we want to look at customer group or segmentation. We can change that and see it consolidated. We could add a variance on the end of here if we wanted to. This is all Excel-like, right? So I'll show you some examples of how to actually build these reports. Very simple kind of grid-based reporting, as well as the visualizations in a little bit. Within the solution, you can also capture commentary for these monthly kind of board reports, right? So we have here, we're looking at Germany, we're looking at actual versus budget, our variances. We could put a comment into here as far as like, rebates. Maybe we had a one-time rebate for a key customer or something, right? So we can add that commentary into here, and then from a corporate perspective, they actually then can pivot and look at sales rebates across all of the different companies or business segments, and they can see the comments across all of those segments and use that to build their overall company commentary as well. So as a part of a month-end process, you can collect that, submit this back, and then again, you get all these nice kind of visualizations and things in addition to your grid-based reporting. At the end of the day, with this book, you have your users online on the system who can come in here and can run this. This is very dynamic and everything, right? But you can also publish this out to your companies or your segments or external auditors, whoever that stakeholder is, by using the export. And you can do that in batch. You could publish that to PDF. You could publish this to PowerPoint. You could pick specific pages on here that you want to print out. You could include an appendix which has all of the selections and contextual information around your selections here. And anything within your filters up here, you could select and just basically go and publish. So this is going to run. This is going to run this report for whatever companies we have selected. It's basically going to refresh, run 6 reports across these 12 different entities when we run it. And it's pretty nice with the PowerPoint integration here. So I'll show you an example of that finished product, which if I click run, this can run for a minute or two while this is publishing results. And I can have another tab open doing something else, right? So this is the output of that. So it runs it for the companies that we selected. It runs each one of the reports, and then it just kind of cycles through and continues building out that deck for you that you would otherwise be having to take these screenshots manually and add them into here. So it can help you automate the publication of the decks. Also, again, goes to PDF. So that's the book publishing here. Next, I want to take you through more of an example. So we were looking at this bridge, and I mean, this is all well and good. This is nice and pretty, and this is, at a company code level for Germany, or a legal entity level, or management entity, whatever you want it to be. But actually, that bridge in analytics reporting goes a lot deeper than it is on the face of that report. So we're actually able to look at these bridges down all the way into whatever level of granularity we have available to us within our model. So this is actually a detailed sales and margin planning model, which I can actually just click on one of these grids within these reports. We have these different objects and visualizations, right? So we're looking at net revenue by segment. We're looking at a revenue bridge. We have our top customers with our sales actual versus budget and our variance. I click into any one of these, and I can actually I can do the formatting, but you can see this is basically a pivot table on steroids, right? So very, very, very similar to Excel. In fact, if I I can show and hide our row and column headers. I can click into the variance and actually see the formula in here. But there's different ways we can create this to go much above and beyond what we could actually do in Excel. But just very simple, in our rows here, we have customer. In our columns, we have our version. Right now we're looking at our top customers. Maybe I want to look at our, top products. We can just change this really easily and pick from whatever dimensionality we have in this model. This is a pretty deep model, a fair amount of detail. So we changed material, and then boom, our report updated right away and showed us the detail that's underlying this, right? So these filters that are in this report drive this entire report. So this is all dynamic too. So if we wanted to change, and right now we're looking at all of our segments, we could, drill into and focus on maybe discounter, right? And you'll see all these visualizations and everything and the grids and material breakout, all updates accordingly. Same thing, we could drill into further product level of detail here, and we can also drill into these charts. These are all dynamic as well. If we wanted to see more detail underneath our customer groupings, we can just do that here. So that's a quick example of kind of how you can visually analyze your data in a much easier way. So again, if you're wanting to see the breakout in segmentation, the breakout, in all these different views of the things that you care about most when you're looking at sales, for example, as opposed to a pivot table, you can see the breakout and components of that all right in front of you and drill into it at one time, right? So quick example of how you can take some of this book reporting and really utilize this at a much more granular level to analyze your data. Some more ad hoc reporting examples here. This is a sales dashboard, right? So we can pivot actually not just between sales, but we can look at sales, the components of it, sales volume, COGS. These are the measures or accounts we decided to make selectable within this story. But for example, when we're looking at this story, we can see we have filters in here for sales organization, company codes, time. We have some number callouts with our current sales and volumes and comparatives versus budget. We have our sales by business area, our sales by distribution channel, and our sales by our different segmentations. So if we change these filters, net sales versus volume, we see all of these update, accordingly right away. If we're looking at net sales and we specifically, for example, want to drill into supermarket, we can simply just highlight supermarket, and then you'll see our graphs and numbers all update right away off to the right. So very easily just, hey, in Excel, if I'm looking at a breakout by segment and I want to drill into this, I've got to know what to look at next, and I've got to know how to edit my report right here. We just click on supermarket and we see the components of it, immediately, right? So we're going from a macro level to a summary level to a detail level, and then, keeping just drilling down in here very naturally within the solution to find the answers to our questions. So I'll just uncheck supermarket. Same concept here. I could come off over to the right. I could click on, commercial buildings. And I could also, when I click on this, I can see when we're looking at comparative reports, doesn't look like I have budget data maybe loaded in here, but I can see it bridges this automatically for us. So it shows us the variance on there. I also change these filters again. We're looking at, customer group. This is dynamic. If I want to change this and look at country, I can change this to country, and this updates right away. I could drill into, for example, developed markets, right, into, different kind of dimensionality here, and we can see the detail underneath that right away. So, yeah, I think that's it right now. I mean, there's more that we can do within here, right? But hopefully you kind of get the idea at this point. The last thing I want to show you within this demonstration is a quick ad hoc report example, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a story. And here I like creating the canvases because I can create an Excel report like with the grid report. But if I create a canvas, I can combine any one of the grids, the Excel reports with the visualizations on the same tab, right? So I've created this report. I'm going to add some data to it. So we have a lot of different datas and models, data models within this solution. I'll pull a quick, simple P&L reporting example. So now I've pulled up this reporting example. I'm just going to pick one of these measures or accounts over here. I'll select gross margin, and it automatically just brings in and shows us the components of our gross margin. I can select, version up here as well. If I want to pull version information into my visualization, and it's just going to automatically suggest for us a visualization based off the data that we've selected. So we're looking at a bar chart with our actual versus our forecast for gross margin. We can then click into that and drill into more detail. So maybe we want to see the product breakout for gross margin. So we add product and select it here, and then can simply just drill down into the charts and see the product level of detail as well. Maybe we just want to focus on a specific region, so we could add organization into here instead of bringing it into the chart. I just want to filter on maybe I want to filter on a couple organizations, let's say North America and South America together to give us Americas. Well, we don't have that in the system, but I can just pick both of these at once, and it's going to create a custom subtotal for us right away and add this to the report dynamically. So at this point, if I'm satisfied with this, right, I could add a variance into here as well. We could get fancy, but I'm just going to go ahead and copy this to a canvas and create a broader report. On this canvas, I might want to add, a text description up on the top of here, so I could say America's gross margin by product. And if I wanted to, I could you can add dynamic text into here. So for example, with that America's organizational selection, we can just add a dynamic text and have it refer to that filter. I'll just leave it there for now. I want to show you how to add the grid-based reporting, so I can add the grid-based reporting or the Excel-like reporting right next to this here. So I'm going to add the grid. I always like to show my totals on the bottom, so I'm just going to change that selection. And you can see, just like the chart here, where we have our measures, our dimensionality, and our selections, just for the grid, we have that pivot table reporting tool. So it's the same functionality you're using in these different widgets here, right? I'll just make this a little bit bigger, and then maybe I'll just add a column off to the right or something if I wanted to. But here I'm going to let's see, just drill into this net income account so we can see a little bit more detail on that. And maybe I just want to focus on operating income. So I can actually just come in here and hide these rows. I don't need to look at that. And then we're looking at actual. Let's change this filter and look at both actual and forecast. Okay, so we have actual and forecast data. I could go, maybe now I want to add an extra column here, and I can set it as repeating and create a variance. So I'll just give that variance a name, and I'll just say actual minus forecast. Boom. And we could create a percent variance. We could, do if formulas and get more complicated and advanced, right? And then remember again, I mean, this is all going back to, you've got your grid here if you want to show it or hide it. This is all drillable, so when we add these Excel-like formulas into the schedule, they will copy up and down accordingly as well. And actually, these formulas are pretty cool because if we come in here to something again like, a little harder to do in Excel, we add time to this analysis because we're not looking at a specific period here. We'll add time and kind of stack it like that, and we can drill into time, and then we can actually see that variance gets copied across the different years. We can add calculations to this in different ways. So as opposed to a column-based calculation, we can add global calculations that can be leveraged in any of these visualizations. We can also create system calculations, right, that would be pre-built and pre-configured for us. But if we wanted to add a calculation on this story, we could. So we would just say add a calculation. Maybe we want to add operating income percent, see how that's compared, year over year. So we could just come in here, say operating income percent, and then we can just type this in and say divided by, I think it's called total sales. Yep, total sales, and we hit OK, and then boom, adds that into the schedule. So this should give you a pretty good idea, just quick demonstration of the capabilities within the solution set, how this can change what you're doing today and improve it much more so versus an EPM tool and a separate analytics solution. You get your book reporting and your visualizations all out of one place. You can do your analysis much more efficiently with these guided analytics. And then the ad hoc reporting, very simple as well, with the benefit of you can pull this kind of, pull these kind of reports together very, very, very quickly without doing something over here in Excel and then something somewhere else. So at this point, I'll pause to take any questions, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up. Yep. So a question here on our book reporting content. What's the complexity? How long does this take to implement? So this is prepackaged content. So we do implementations with low, medium, high configuration. So if this met your requirements pretty closely, we can deploy this in weeks, pretty quickly, based off of SAP data sets, non-SAP data sets. Doesn't matter too much, right? Yeah, so it could be a matter of weeks, or if we're more building a specification, then we come up with an estimate and timeline based off of your more detailed requirements. I see some folks raising your hands. Please, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat here. And any further questions, I'm happy to stay on for another minute or two and answer, and then we'll wrap up. Okay. Well, yeah, we will post a recording of this on YouTube after the fact, so you can take a look at that at your leisure, I guess, and feel free to reach out with further questions. Is the Excel add-in similar to BBC EPM? No, I would say the Excel add-in is more similar to analysis for Office that's available within this tool. That's the origin of the solution. Yep. So it's good for retrieving, sending data, pivot table type analysis within Excel. To do more book reporting, I would recommend this interface. All right. Complexity of calculations compared to Excel. To some extent, some of the calculations within this tool, you can really streamline your Excel calculations and even do more advanced type calculations within this tool. If you're looking for a 20 nested if statement, within the grid-based reporting, it's okay. If you're looking for that to streamline that with a system calculation, definitely as well. And yeah, we help companies kind of evaluate different deployment models all the time. So we'd be happy to set up a quick call with you guys, understand, help you understand maybe what the right direction is. With obviously our goal as a consulting company, we'd love to help you get there, right? So thanks everyone again for joining. Feel free to reach out with any further questions, or if you'd like to discuss further how we could help you get going. I will mention we have SAP Financials Conference coming up in July in a month. If you want any information on that, please reach out to Lauren, ask her for information. Would love to see you guys out there. If you're looking to get out of the house, it should be a good time, a lot of education and connections and things you can make at that conference. So, all right, thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.